do drugs when they could just mow a lawn? Why would anyone do drugs when they could just mow a lawn? Anyone do drugs when they could just mow a lawn? Why would anyone do drugs when they could just mow a lawn? Anyone do drugs when they could just mow a lawn?
All right, hello, and we're live, and welcome everybody back to the Progress Report. Best show at the start of the week, taking over this time slot, and we're joined today by conservative firebrand Savanah Hernandez. Hello. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I've watched several of your streams, and you're always very opinionated. You have a lot to say, so I know we're going to have a good show today. Couple quick announcements. First of all, for people who are looking for the normal Can't Stop Progress series, I've moved it over to Odyssey, BitChute, and Rumble only. YouTube's not really liking that kind of content, but you can still find it on those alternative platforms. And today's show is sponsored by our friends at Noble Gold. So let's get this out of the way here. Now, if you're still considering whether to invest in gold or silver, we have some news. Noble Gold, one of the sponsors of our show, has just been picked by Consumer Affairs, the rating agency, as the overall #1 gold IRA in the US, beating 17 others to the spot. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens because they're true professionals who know what they're doing, tell their clients what they can and can't do to maximize their returns and minimize their losses. They're that rarity in today's financial environment, honest, caring, and reliable. We've known them for a while now, and I know the team treats their customers as family. And by the way, they're giving away a beautiful 1/10 ounce gold American Eagle Proof coin with every qualifying IRA or 401k rollover this month. Can't go wrong with Noble Gold. Call the team now, 877-646-5347 to find out more, or visit noblegoldinvestments.com. Okay. I know it's kind of awkward to start off a conversation talking about people's ethnicities, but I have a funny story for you. a while ago. So I don't know if you've ever seen my show, You Can't Stop Progress. Are you familiar with that series at all that I do? It's just like a clip compilation show. Mm-hmm. And we've featured several of your clips, your like on the street stuff from time to time, viral clips like that. And so there was a while ago, my wife said, "Hey, did you see that clip?" I can't remember exactly what clip it was, but where they said so-and-so. It was one of those Pride Parade clips, I think. And I said, "Oh yeah, that's that Sav Says chick, that Asian chick." And my wife was like, "What are you talking about, dude? Her name's Hernandez. She's like Mexican or whatever." And I was like, "Oh wow, I'm just retarded, I guess. Wow, why did I think that?" Then I was watching your interview with Gavin that you did over on Censored TV the other day, which is a really great interview, by the way. And so what is it? Your dad is like South American, is it Guatemalan or?
No, my dad's just Hispanic, and then my mom comes from the island of Guam. That's probably where you're getting
Oh, Guam. That's what it was. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm not totally retarded.
Not totally. Halfway, probably. I'm kidding.
No. All right. So cool. So we're just going to watch these video clips and then see if we have anything to say about them. So if you want to talk, just start talking and I'll pause the video. Let me know how the audio is, guys. You sound a little bit quiet to me, Savanah, but that might be maybe on my, whoops, that's the wrong thing. Maybe I can turn you up a little bit on my end here.
Yeah, let me know, because I can turn myself up too if you need be.
Okay. And then guys in the chat, if it needs adjustments, let us know. All right. Let's just get, guys. Yeah. So this is, we'll start off with some Lives of TikTok. And like I said, just if you want to talk, just talk and I'll pause the video.
So what are we watching here? Is this Pride? What is this?
It is Pride, which, I thought Pride Month was like June, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We don't have Pride Month anymore. We have Pride all summer. It's all summer. Like I just saw, there's another clip I saw that was in Texas. There's a Pride parade. It just goes and it goes and it goes and it gets more.
Now they
and more
have the drag queen story times for kids, so it never ends. It never ends.
Yeah, I mean, what can you even say about that? It's just obviously gratuitously sexualized. I guess you can't be proud of who you are without getting naked. I don't know. Let's just push through this.
People get really confused about the difference between gender identity and sexual orientation. We tend to talk about LGBT this and LGBT that. And in reality, LG and B, lesbian, gay, and bisexual, are sexual orientations. Sexual orientation refers to who you are attracted to. Gender identity, on the other hand, is who you are inside, your sense of yourself. So people with any gender identity can have any sexual orientation, and people with any sexual orientation can have any gender identity. If you're transgender, you can be straight, queer, bisexual, pansexual, asexual, demisexual, and any other sexuality that you can think of.
Which episode of South Park was that?
Yeah, have you been following this whole Boston Children's Hospital Libs of TikTok saga?
Unfortunately, yes. This is one of my least favorite topics to cover as well, just because honestly, the LGBTQ community disgusts me. And I don't mean that in I hate all gay people type of way, but it's more of I've been to Pride. I've had to see this with my own two eyes, and it is disgusting. And if you're trying to maim children and mutilate them, shame on you. So I just hate watching this stuff, but let's delve right in.
Yeah, it's hard to deal with, and something about this has made me think about is I don't give to charity a lot, but sometimes when I do, sometimes you're in a situation where you have to pick a charity to give to for whatever reason. And I always tend to pick children's hospitals because it seems like one of the ones where it's a good cause and you're
can't go wrong with that, right?
Yeah, how can you go wrong with sick kids? But now It's are they going to take your money and turn it into rainbow propaganda videos? Why does this stuff even exist? You know what I mean? Why does a hospital have to be doing this stuff? It's not a psychiatrist You know, it's not an insane asylum. You know what I mean? It's not a mental hospital. I don't know. Anyways, keep going.
Guys, do you prefer a nice guy or an asshole?
An ancient man.
You said what?
An ancient man.
An ancient man? What do you mean by that?
Like 1800s? Don't you want to go away with me? It'll be like humans never existed, or technology.
Some of these videos are a little goofy, just so you know, some little palate cleansers. I like the way she talks. I'll admit it. I like the way she talks. It's some kind of like weird affectation. I don't know what to call that, but any comment?
You know, when I first watched that video, I thought it was like, you know, return to tradition type of mentality. And I was like, okay, I could get on board with that. Like, yeah, take me back to the 1800s. We'll go and, you know, build a farm and raise a family out in the wilderness away from big government. I was like, when I first watched it, I was like, all right, I'm not mad about this mentality. I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, but then you're thinking, well, she's probably just on acid or something.
Exactly.
Fit all of this in 60 seconds. I'm going to tell you this. If you go to Google and literally Google how do white women uphold systems of white supremacy in education, you will get link after link after link after link that answer the question. Historically, our job as white women has been to uphold the status quo. And historically, as white women, we see ourselves as like an extension of the white man. And so with that comes wanting that same power. And one of the biggest ways that we gain that power is through our tears. So when we look at that from an educational standpoint, and I'm going to use discipline as an example because it was in the comments and it's pretty digestible. Like you can clearly see discipline when it's an example. As white teachers, when we say, oh, this student's giving me issues and they're put out of class, that fuels that school to prison pipeline, which is a white supremacist system that we are upholding. Same with other punitive discipline measures.
Yeah, so that's a common talking point I hear is that, you know, the discipline in the schools is racist or white supremacist or whatever because it's not even across the races. Black children or black boys in particular are disproportionately disciplined. I was just thinking, like the thought I had while I was watching that is like, as a white person, the only race that I've ever seen in my life have this sort of like, I don't know what the word is, like, just like, I know people call it like white guilt, but just like this, like self-loathing, you know, I've only ever seen that from white people. It must be weird as a non-white person. Like if Asian people were like, you know, us Asian people, we have so much to atone for. I'd be watching that and be like, that's weird. Like especially if it was like a phenomenon that you see all over and over and over again. You know, it's not just like one kooky person. What are your thoughts on that?
I have met white liberals like this who do think that they need to apologize for their skin tone. And then I immediately ask them, why do you think that you're better than me? Why do you think that, you know, you feel the need to apologize for your skin tone? Do you think that you're better than me for some reason? And I've asked a couple of white liberals this and they like freeze up on the spot because they don't even know how to respond. But that's essentially what it is, right? It's this entitled mentality that, oh, I have to atone for past sins of my ancestors. And they think that as white people, they're doing better in society and they are better than you in society. And so they're essentially looking down on minorities, but putting them in this class of people that are so oppressed that they can't, you know, basically live in normal society. So it's just also hilarious to me. And I love calling these types of people out. And I've done it so many times. You know, I've gone to BLM rallies where white women have been there to atone for their sins. And I've asked them to apologize for their skin tone. And then they'll do it. And then they'll find out that I'm conservative. And I'm like, you know, they get upset about it. But I'm like, you should not be apologizing for your skin tone. Have you ever owned a slave? No. Have you ever been a part? Are you a racist person? Like if you were racist at your core, then okay, apologize for this. But if you're not, then what are you doing? You know, so it's hilarious to me.
Yeah, well said.
Hundreds of Queensland teachers will have their pay cut as punishment for not getting vaccinated. While the teachers are now allowed back in the classroom, the financial penalty will be felt for the next 18 weeks.
In the last 48 hours, hundreds of teachers have received a dressing down and a pay cut, described in a letter from the Education Department as a reduction in remuneration for a period of 18 weeks. How much is deducted will depend on each teacher's pay grade, but it will be hundreds, if not thousands of dollars.
Teachers are absolutely devastated. They're in fear because they've been penalised more than once. So they've been penalised with, they went on leave without pay.
While initially stood down, teachers who refused to get vaccinated were allowed back into classrooms this term, and they're being warned they're on notice.
It's so bizarre, you know. I'm not a very conspiratorial person, and sometimes when you get into the more schizoid corners of Twitter, you see people talking about, you know, they and how they want to demoralize you and they want to divide. And I generally like don't think that way, but it is weird. Like, what is the rationale for paying people less because they aren't vaccinated? It just seems like a sort of punishment and a humiliation ritual for not going along with what you're supposed to do.
Well, that's essentially what it is. They're punishing those who refuse to be subservient to a tyrannical government, essentially, right? And if you do want to get into the theys and who this all is, because I talk about this a lot on my podcast too, because it's like, okay, you know, we have this upper class that is trying to basically get the masses to bow down to them, to capitulate, to give up their rights and freedoms in return for quote unquote safety, right? Which again, now we're seeing has been a complete lie over the past 2 years. But yeah, it's really sad to see that people are still being medically discriminated against, just like these teachers. And, I was reading some headlines yesterday where it was like NYPD and New York Fire Department asked the mayor to get rid of the vaccine mandates. And I was like, why am I still reading these headlines? This was a headline from last year. Why is this still a thing? It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. I thought we would be into the class action lawsuit headlines by this point. You know what I mean? But
exactly. And there are some lawsuits that are starting now. I know there's a hospital in Illinois where they are going to be suing that hospital for medically discriminating against people because they didn't allow religious exemptions for the vaccine mandate. But it's like, this isn't enough. I want that business or that hospital to be put out of business because that's what these people deserve. You can't just medically discriminate against people and then get away with it. But apparently, the majority of the country was able to do that, unfortunately.
Yeah. So this one's a little goofy. This is a gender reveal party.
Oh, no.
Probably in Florida or something like that.
Ready? Most likely.
Oh, we're ready forever.
It's a boy. And then the gator eats his leg.
It's a boy.
I knew it was a
Yeah, so this is a drag show. And you see two children here in the front row.
Drag shows are fun for all ages. Be gay. Malicious gay faggotry.
That person looks like he smells like a garbage bag. I'm just going to be honest.
He looks like if AIDS was a person. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
This is like the real life version of the Joker right now. I don't like this. You know what? I'm going to be so black-pilled after this episode. I really wasn't expecting to go full send on the TikToks like this. I wasn't mentally prepared. I'm disgusted.
Yeah. But we're not, by the way, he's like, be gay, but we're not allowed to call them groomers, but they'll actively like tell your kids to be gay if you give them a chance.
You're always going to find it here.
Oh, this is just an electric car charging. This video's a little bit older, but...
That's just the turbocharge. It's supposed to do that.
Yeah, that just means it's working.
Yeah.
The distribution on Facebook was decreased, but people were still allowed to share it. So you could still share it. You could still consume it.
So when you say the distribution is decreased,
it got shared.
How does that work?
It basically, the ranking in newsfeed was a little bit less. So fewer people saw it than would have otherwise. So it definitely...
By what percentage?
I don't know off the top of my head, but it's...
Did you see this one? So this is Mark Zuckerberg and Rogan, obviously, and they're talking about the Hunter Biden laptop story and how the FBI asked Facebook to like throttle the story, basically.
Yeah, they helped to fortify the election. And we can say that because remember that Time Magazine did come out with that entire article post-2020 election talking about the fortification of that. So that's all that was, guys. Just look away. It's totally fine. This is how our system of government and media works now. So.
Yeah, I didn't watch the full Rogan episode, but I wonder if he asked him about the like $400 million or whatever that he spent as well on basically Democrat activism for the election. Basically,
it's meaningful, but I mean, but basically, a lot of people were still able to share it. We got a lot of complaints that was the case. Obviously, this is a hyper political issue. So depending on what side of the political spectrum, you either think we didn't censor it enough or censored it way too much. But we weren't sort of as black and white about it as Twitter. We just kind of thought, hey, look, if the FBI, which I still view as a legitimate institution in this country, it's like very professional law enforcement, they come to us and tell us that we need to be on guard about something, then I want to take that seriously.
Yeah, I used to respect the FBI too, but the last few years have not been...
But then I grew up.
Yeah.
Did they specifically say you need to be on guard about that story?
No, I don't remember if it was that specifically, but it basically fit the pattern.
But he says it fit the pattern, but I mean, how do you determine that even?
Well, if you see Hunter Biden smoking crack on multiple videos and you know that it's probably going to be bad for Joe Biden, then that usually would fit the, the category of things to kind of censor, just, Ashley Biden's story, everybody look away from that. I was actually covering that yesterday and I thought it was hilarious because you think that the big angle of the Ashley Biden story now being confirmed, which we already all knew was confirmed, you think that the big angle of that would have been, Joe Biden inappropriately showering with his daughter. But no, the media is
her saying she actually wrote, sorry to interrupt, but she did write too that she thinks she was molested.
Yeah, so you think that would kind of be a big thing for the daughter of the sitting president of the United States to have written down during her childhood. But what the media is focused in on is the two people who stole her diary and then sold it to Project Veritas. So that's the big angle. It's hilarious to me.
Yeah.
So happy that women are starting to finally break out of the matrix and realize modern day feminism is meant to literally break and destroy us. The reason we are all so fucked up and unhappy is because we are going against nature, and nature will always prevail and will always win. But that is like true. It's like so funny that it took this long for these things to start to become mainstream ideas. You don't need to be a girl boss. That shit's disgusting and embarrassing. Cut it out.
Oops.
Sexual and
without.
That's my bad. So that's kind
no, don't make us watch it again.
So that's like a anti-feminism video. You're kind of a girl boss, though, aren't you, Sav?
I don't know if I would call myself that. I think that I'm the victim of a society that's forcing me to work, to be quite honest. You think that I want to be working right now? Absolutely not. I want to be baking bread, but here I am.
Is that because society soyed out all the men and you can't find a good husband? Or
it's because I have more testosterone than the average man, unfortunately, in the modern day, because, everyone's on a vegan diet, eating seed oils and eating a bunch of soy, so they have no testosterone. Don't do it, men. Don't do it.
I think that's probably true.
And embarrassing. Cut it out.
You're disgusting. What do you think you are? You're just
Speaking of vegan diets, this is some kind of vegan protest, and that guy's just eating a kebab.
Oh, it feels fucking good. You and your small dick and your pussy wet are killing animals, and it feels good.
It's the lick for me. I loved it.
By the way, what was going on with this woman? She's all painted up. It's obviously like very performative, right? Like, come on, you've seen people eat meat like 8 billion times in your life. You don't need to act that upset about it, right? It's just like
it gets them every single time, and it's so easy to make these people upset. Liberals are the easiest people to like trigger, if you will. Good
yeah, it's
Lord.
like they want an excuse, right? Because you don't have to look hard to find somebody eating meat, but she's like, oh, he's doing it at the vegan gathering, so now I'm just gonna go full Karen.
They just got engaged. Since y'all just got engaged, what's y'all's fetish? I'm really, really into Asian women despite what I'm marrying. Bruh.
I'm literally a white woman. I don't know what to say about that, so.
What's your fetish?
So bad for her.
My fetish? That man right there. This one. Yeah.
I hope y'all have a great wedding. Thank you, man.
She's
her
done.
face.
She's so done. I mean, in his defense, it looks like they were drinking, so I don't think he was sober. They probably drank a bit too much, but man.
You know what? These videos always make me so sad because I feel like the women are always like, oh, I just love my man and I just, long walks on the beach with my man or my fetish. And the guy's like, yeah, I like Asian chicks. She's white. That's like how they always go every single time.
It's not always, but yeah, he'll learn the ropes. Hopefully, he'll come around.
He's not married yet.
Gendered
That's the
social
issue.
structures are ancient. A binary framework of biological sex didn't actually exist in Western culture until the late 18th century.
So this is from Scientific American, our most cherished scientific publication, and they're talking about how it wasn't until the 1800s that scientists decided that men and women existed, basically.
Before, science recognized only one sex, the male, and considered the female body an inferior version of it. The shift that historians call the two-sex model served mainly to reinforce gender and racial divisions by tying social status to the body.
And the reason they decided there was two sexes is because of racism, obviously.
It's always tied to racism every single time. Why is Lizzo morbidly obese? Because of climate change and racism, okay? It's really difficult every single day because I have to combat that myself, right? Like as a brown female, I have to wake up every day, deal with climate change, racism, all of these issues. It's very difficult, very oppressive. What can we say? Women, we suffer so much.
Sucks to be you.
I know, truly.
Most niggas from the house and then they want to police. Come take a trip to the floor seat.
The look on her face.
I have watched this happen in live time in New York.
And I fuck with Janisha.
I saw this tweet the other day. I actually retweeted. It was a guy saying that like people in these big cities, they learn how to just you have to go totally blank with your facial expression because you don't want to set them off. You don't want to laugh. You don't want to make eye contact. You don't want to look angry. Like you don't want to betray any emotion. So you have to like perfect this ability to look like a statue basically when you're in these weird situations.
So I recently went to New York to go and basically highlight how degraded that city is and how normal life for New Yorkers is not how normal life is supposed to be. Yeah. Go check out that video on my YouTube channel, Saf Says. But basically, I go and I ask people, like, what's the craziest thing that you've seen in New York? And this one guy's like, oh, yeah, this guy was trying to sell me crack while he was peeing in the subway. And then this other guy said that he saw somebody rub poop all over his face for a hit of drugs. It was just like an insane place. And then I actually watched essentially what we just saw in this video in live time. So I was in Washington Square Park. It's a beautiful day. It's about 4 p.m. and there's children running by playing. And then you see these straight up crackheads who are methed out, cracked out, whatever, take your pick on whatever they're on. And they're like going up to people and sitting down next to them at these benches. And then people, they can't get up right away because then they would risk potentially pissing off whoever sat next to them. So they have to like sit there and pretend that it's normal and then like slowly get up.
Yeah,
and like you said,
exactly.
And then like,
look at the time.
I'm gonna hope the person doesn't get pissed off that they're leaving. It was insane to watch, and I'm like, so people are just okay with this? This is just normal life in New York City, and you guys willingly live here and pay $6,000 for rent per month. I don't understand the mentality.
Yeah, I couldn't see myself really wanting to live in any city that's big enough to have a metro system or a subway system. I feel like that's a sign that it's too big for human living. Where are you in Texas or
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where are you, or do you say are you in like Dallas or?
I'm in Austin now. I was in Dallas, but I'm in Austin.
That's the bad one, isn't it?
It is. There's a lot of liberals here, but that's why I like it. They're good for content.
Yeah, good for content. Yeah,
exactly. What is this, an average day in Russia? What's going on? No, this is America for sure.
A bunch
and by
of
the way,
dancing.
I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun, and the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
You're president, ladies and gentlemen.
Didn't Joe Biden call like a 9-year-old child baby today?
Oh, I didn't see that, but
it was very creepy. It was very creepy.
Checks out. It passes the smell test.
Oh gosh.
Jeez.
You can run the best campaign.
Bad choice of words. Passes the smell test.
I know. I thought you were making a joke.
You can even
there.
become the nominee, and you can have the election stolen from you.
How can you win with Russian interference, though?
That's
what I'm scared about in 2020.
But rightly.
Because I think he's an illegitimate president that didn't really win. So how do you fight against that in 2020?
You are absolutely right.
He's an illegitimate president in my mind.
Would you be my vice presidential candidate? Folks, look, I absolutely agree.
Trump didn't actually win the election in 2016.
So that video goes on for 10 minutes. I didn't play the whole thing, obviously, because you get the idea. But again, it's double standards and hypocrisy. People on the right will get banned for saying such things, but it's fine if you're a Democrat and you say it.
Well, it's because only Republicans can steal elections because we're evil white supremacist Nazis, and the Democratic Party can do no wrong. Let's just be honest here.
Yeah. By the way, you mentioned you told people to check out your YouTube channel. I just want to let people know too. I did put links to Sav's YouTube and Instagram in the description there, so you can find those links there, handy to click on. I didn't put your Twitter because you're banned, right?
Triple banned, very banned.
Too based for Twitter. What did you do? Do you know? Or
I got retweeted by Donald Trump. Yeah, that was the last straw for them. So then they deleted my account for ban evasion, my only account. So
you got your first account was banned for ban evasion.
It was.
So it's total bullshit.
Yeah. So it was because Donald Trump retweeted me. And so they deleted basically, a year and a half of my career and my work, which was a lot of fun for me. And then I made the second account because I was basically like, F you guys, you have no basis for banning me. Yeah. Broke the Leah Thomas story. Went super viral. Tucker Carlson covered it. Then they banned me again. And then I said, I'm still making another account. And then we went and covered Pride in Washington, D.C. That went super viral. And then I got banned for the third time.
Oh, maybe you should sue them at some point, because that worked out for Alex Berenson. He sued and got his Twitter account back.
Yeah, let me make a couple $100,000 so I can hire an attorney who will help me out. Give me a couple years.
Anyway, we got this very important video to watch here.
Is that how babies are made?
I just want to ask one
This
question.
one's good. Elizabeth's
My
good.
daughter's getting out of school. I've saved all my money. She doesn't have any student loans. Am I going to get my money back? Of course not. So you're going to pay for people who didn't save any money, and those of us that did the right thing get screwed.
No, it's not anybody got screwed. When we
Of
started,
course we did. My buddy had fun, bought a car, went on vacations. I saved my money. He made more than I did. But I worked a double shift, worked extra. My daughter's worksheet is 10. So you're laughing. Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. We did the right thing, and we get screwed.
I appreciate it.
That's all right.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, so for anyone who couldn't quite make out what was going on there, he was saying he paid for his daughter to go to college, saved all his money to pay for her college, and wanted to know if he was going to get $10,000 back. And of course, the answer is no. You only get the money if you're irresponsible, basically. So
you only get the money if you are driving a car you can't afford, living in a city you can't afford, and drinking Starbucks every day and avocado toast.
yeah, that's going to be a really divisive move, you know. So, like something like the stimulus checks, like everybody kind of wins and everybody's happy. But when it comes to the student loan forgiveness, there's going to be a lot of people who feel like it's just not fair.
100%. I mean, you're making the hardworking middle class essentially pay for the spoiled, entitled liberals who went and did get a useless degree, or, you know, the liberals or just not even liberals, but like Americans who decided to go to their dream college despite it being hundreds of thousands of dollars when they could have gone to a community college, or they could have gone to a smaller university that was more affordable. That's what I did. I paid off my student loan debt in 2 years. I was working 2 jobs. I sacrificed a lot so I could pay that debt off, and now I get to pay off my fellow man's debt. Yay! I'm so excited.
I studied jazz performance, so I can't judge too harshly on people getting useless degrees, but you know, it could have worked out. I could have been a star.
But also the police report states something else fairly alarming, that the suspect claims that he or she is connected to this website, which is a site that actually supports cyber stalking. The suspect even gave police their username. So basically, as you pointed out, this is a suspect admitted to intending to do harm via cyber stalking. You said you fully want to, prosecute whomever did this. And I'm assuming that suspect is still at large, right?
Yes, there's an investigation underway, and there's an even investigation into whether that's really the person that did this. But isn't it concerning that such a website exists? Like, why does that even exist?
Mhm.
That website needs to be taken down. There should be no business or any kind of service where you can target your enemy. That's absolutely absurd. And this is the type of lawlessness that Democrats want all over the country. You know, the Democrats are the party of defund the police, which has created crime that is going out of control all over the country. But it's also failure of our government and failure of our law enforcement to not take down a website like that. Like, all of these types of groups need to be completely eradicated. They should not be allowed to exist. They should not be able to abuse police resources like that. And police officers, we need more police officers. We don't have enough right now. They need to be able to respond to traffic accidents as real emergencies, and to calls where they've got to save someone's life, not be part of a prank or a potential, way to kill someone. So, that has to end.
Did Marjorie Taylor Greene just call to abolish the FBI?
Well, I don't know if she's got swatted like 2 or 3 times in the last couple weeks, and there's been a lot of swatting going on. I don't know how closely you've been following this highly autistic section of the internet, but there's this whole like Kiwi Farms and Mr. Medicare and the Keno Casino and America First. And they're all like at war with each other, and everybody has basically been swatted at this point. And this is exactly what I was worried about. So it's escalating now with MTG getting swatted. And what's going to happen is the politicians are going to try to do something, and they're just going to make things worse on the internet. They're never going to be able to like stop the anonymity of these people as long as the people know what they're doing. But they're going to try to do something, and it's just going to make the internet less free. So I really hate swatters. They're really like the lowest of the low to me.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is something that we are constantly seeing. Tim Pool gets swatted all the time as
Yeah.
well. Ugh, not fun. Not good for anybody involved.
He just put his foot through the wall there.
I didn't even see that.
I mean, it's just not good. Like whatever your political inclinations and beliefs are, these are just two dudes spazzing out, voguing. It's not impressive, you know.
Yeah, this kind of looks like a club scene in New York.
Yeah, some kind of like art scene, hip and trendy, but I mean, it's not impressive movements here.
In the last few years of my life, and I realized it's been a complete hell. My life has just went down the hill ever since I had so-called bottom surgery trying to be a woman. And I regret it. I regret it 100%. I regret too that I ever thought I was trans, that I ever thought I could be a woman, and I wish I could go back and not have any surgeries or medically transition or take any hormones. To be honest, like, this transition has costed me so much of my health, both mental and physical, as well as certain relationships in my family. It costed me job opportunities. It costed me a career that I could have had. I don't know if you guys know it, but I do have like 2 master's degrees and I'm a CPA. And honestly, like, this whole transition and my whole like trying to be a woman thing completely derailed my life. And right now I have osteoporosis, scoliosis, I have a lump in my breast, I have 1-inch vagina, and yeah, so it's like I have no sex drive. I'm trying to do the transition. I'm taking testosterone injection at this point, but I can't grow any facial hair, like nothing is happening. I mean, obviously I still like wearing makeup and stuff, but makeup and hair does not make a woman. So I've been so delusional for all these years, and I just wish my family and friends weren't so supportive of my transition, and I wish they sat me down and talked to me and said, like, are you sure this is what you want to do? Maybe you'll grow out of this. I have so much to say and all those things that I say are not gonna be like perceived well by trans community, but I don't care. I'm leaving trans community. At this point, I identify as non-binary person. Any pronoun is fine. If you see me as a man, that's fine. You can call me he. If you see me as a woman, you shouldn't. I'm not a woman. I thought I was one, but I'm not. And sorry, like, honestly, I just don't know what else to say. And I know some of you guys thought I was trans and you guys looked up to me maybe, and like, but I've made a huge mistake that I cannot take back. I completely miss my sex drive. I miss my penis, and I completely fucked up. Whatever, I sacrificed so much financially, and like, I've been through so much trying to get this approximation, like really bad approximation of female genitals, and that's what it is. And I've been delusional this time. I didn't want to admit to myself because I did an irreversible change to my body, and I just had to roll with it because I had no other options. And unfortunately, the trans community has become very toxic. At this point, they've gone too far. My opinion doesn't count because I'm the one with complications. That's why transition didn't make me happy. And like, I honestly think I'm just as unhappy as I was before transition, and what I really needed is therapy and help and not surgery.
Absolutely brutal. For me, the worst part almost too is at the end when he says, they because I'm not happy, it's discounted because I have complications. So the complications from the surgery are the reasons I'm not happy, not being trans. But I wanted to show you this because complications are a lot more common than they tell you. This is from the Post Millennial by Christina Buttons, and it's about the hidden complications of transgender bottom surgeries. And it goes over a bunch of the studies, like some of the figures, like for example, when it comes to vaginoplasty, 20 to 70% have complications. And when you read about it and when you see the pictures, I mean, I'm not going to obviously show pictures like that on YouTube and stuff like that, but I mean, it's just absolutely horror show stuff.
See, and I made a very harsh statement at the beginning of the show when I said the LGBTQ community disgusts me. And this is the portion of the community that I'm talking about, those that silence the people who are coming out and trying to share those stories, those that are trying to hide the realities of what transition surgery looks like for children, what transition surgery looks like for anybody in the community. What disgusts me is the lies and the deceit and the fact that people are being sold a lie that if they get the surgery, their life is going to be great. They're going to be happy and all their problems are going to be solved, when the reality of the matter is surgery is never going to make you happy. You know, whether you're getting transition surgery, whether you are getting plastic surgery because you're unhappy with, you know, some feature on your body, surgery is never going to make you happy. You have an internal problem that you need to fix. And we as a society are so, you know, instant gratification. And I do think that's why transgenderism has been such a hot topic, because it's what's popular right now. And especially for children, right? They're going to jump on the bandwagon of whatever's popular because they just want to fit in. And in our society today, instead of getting to the root cause of the problem as to why, you know, maybe these people are depressed, why they're feeling this certain way, what the root of the problem actually is, we're instead just, you know, sending them straight into the surgery room where they're getting chunks of their flesh taken off to be recreated into a fake male member, or they're getting their, you know, male genitalia tucked into their bodies. And I've read threads as well on what the surgery from male to female entails. And it is genuinely horrific to read. And it's heartbreaking that people are lied to about what this practice really entails.
Do you think that we're near the end of the trend? Do you think like it's on a decline, or do you think we're still gaining steam with this? Because sometimes I think that people are getting fed up. I feel like the tide's turning, but it's hard to say. There's so much money involved with the medical industry. You know, there's so much, there's still so much pressure from the top down to support this. But I think a lot of people, a lot of just normies, so to speak, I think they're starting to like lose their interest in going along with it. The more of these stories that come out.
I agree. I think that the trans community has severely overplayed their hand, especially when it came to targeting children. I think a lot of parents woke up to the realities of what their children were being taught and what their children are being indoctrinated with. And that's why they're getting angry, they're getting vocal. And the more and more we see regarding transition surgery, the more horrific it appears to be. And we're hearing stories just like this one. That's why Gays Against Groomers is so popular, because they're a subset of the LGBTQ community that's saying, okay, no, we're not going to stand for this. We're not going to stand for the targeting of children. We're not going to stand for people hiding what transition surgery really looks like and what it entails, both mentally and physically. So I think that we are coming to the tail end of transgenderism and it being so widely popular. I think it's being exposed very well for what it is. And, you know, we need to keep pushing forward and just showing people the truth of the matter. Like, this isn't even like a hateful thing or targeting a community. You know, they say that so that way people will be silenced and censored that are trying to reveal the truth about this matter. But, unveiling the reality of this is very important. I'm glad that we're doing it.
Yeah, I hope you're right. Of course, those of us who have been sounding the alarm from the beginning, we're probably not going to be getting a lot of apologies, but that's okay. As long as we stop this madness, that'll be good enough.
Okay, white educators, this one is for you. I mean, really, most of these are going to be for y'all. White educators should be a safe space for Black students. Let me say that again. White educators should be a safe space for Black students.
I mean, so far, I don't really disagree. I don't know why you have to racial. I mean, you could just say teachers should be safe for their students. I don't like the term safe spaces, but I mean, if you mean that the students should be able to trust their teachers, yeah, I don't disagree with that.
If you're wondering why you're not able to connect with those kids, it's probably because they don't feel safe around you. I mean, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. There are many white people, especially white strangers, that I have my guard up. And it's because I'm trying to protect myself from them. I don't know if this is a safe person. And it's the same with children. So if you decide to gloss over instances of racism or decide that Black Lives Matter is a political thing, you're not a safe person.
I can't say what I'm really thinking.
Ah, man. You know, I get really tired of people making everything a racial issue, and that's something that we're consistently seeing. It's one of the best tools to divide the people, and I've always said this, you know, the reason why the media, the government needs to keep us divided is because once the American people realize and finally wake up to the fact that it's the American people against a corrupt government, it's not a black or white issue, it's a corrupt government versus the American people issue, then we'll be unstoppable and we'll be able to take this corrupt government down. And that's why they continuously inject this type of racial propaganda, because it's the easiest way to keep people separated.
Yeah, okay. The Candyman has a message for Twitch's favorite communist,
yeah.
Hassan Piker.
Anyone you want to call out in the heavyweight division?
Oh, you know it, lad. You know that, Hassan Piker. I'm coming to kill you in Los Angeles at your house.
Or in the ring?
No, in real life. I'm going to stalk him and become obsessed with him and wear his makeup and his dresses and use his skin as a coat like the ancient Irish did.
Well, that's your winner, Sam.
Such a legend.
No, don't fucking hide. If you're a sub, you're not getting unbanned for that. I'm just letting you know. Look, dude, if you see a mentally ill Nazi, okay, on the internet, be like, I'm going to kill Hassan Piker. Okay, I'm going to come to his house and murder him. And you go, oh, this is some information that he should probably watch. Like he should watch and address this. Okay? Then honestly, just don't post. And get the fuck out of the community. Just be normal, dude. What the fuck's wrong with you?
He shook.
He doesn't even know what to do.
Think before you link. Okay?
Yeah, Sam is an absolute legend. I mean, that's so funny. It's also like the whole thing is kind of making fun of the concept of internet death threats, which is overused all the time. Like the Boston Children's Hospital that we mentioned, they were saying they were getting death threats after the Lives of TikTok tweets. I saw another video. Some woman went to like a drag show and the drag queen went through her purse and took out like $400 or something. And then she made a TikTok video saying that the place she was at, the venue, they wouldn't help her get the money back. And the venue responded and was like, we're getting death threats now. Everybody's always getting death threats all the time. But that was absolutely hilarious. And my thoughts on
the victim
Hassan,
economy.
Yeah, my thoughts on Hassan there is that if there was like actually some like neo-Nazi with like a shaved head and a swastika tattoo making death threats, I feel like he'd probably would talk about it and be like, look at this person, look at this guy, this is what the right is, you know what I mean? But because Sam is just, everybody understands on a sort of visceral level that Sam is funny and cool, he doesn't want to talk about it. He's like, no, just do not talk about that, you know?
Put some respect on the ghost of Ukraine's name.
Yeah.
You'd be cool with a guy that makes less money, but he's a hard worker, like he's ambitious. Yeah. Let's say he just started his own business, but he makes $45,000 a year. Would you date him?
You wouldn't be able to afford my engagement ring.
I'm getting an 8-carat cushion cut vintage engagement ring. If you make $45,000 a year, it would take you
What?
4 years? No, 8 years to afford
Wait,
my
how much?
engagement ring?
I don't know anything about rings. How much? How much is that?
About $200,000.
Girl, you want a $200,000? Are you
I'm the sparkle
insane?
queen. I'm the sparkle queen. My ring has to sparkle from across the street. Like, you have
Yeah,
to see that shit. It's gonna blind people.
but that's so superficial. That's
No.
like so superficial.
But it's about so much more than that. It's about the fact that you can afford that, right? I go to yoga with this girl who has an 8-carat diamond engagement ring. Her
Yeah.
husband owns a weed company and drives an Audi. So it's about more than just it's about the fact that you can afford that.
Okay. Well, I'm just thinking like you're gonna miss out on a lot of guys because I'm telling
They're not for me.
but not in a good way. Not in a good way. I'm telling you, like, if my mom asked for that from my dad would have told her to go find a new boyfriend because there's no way in hell he was gonna spend $200,000 on an engagement ring.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but that girl is not cute enough to be asking for a $200,000 engagement ring. That's just facts and science. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be the one to say it.
Absolutely mid. It's really weird. You know, I used to watch like some streams from the late and great Kevin Samuels. I don't know if you ever watched much of his content, but he would have women like that on all the time. And they're these, you know, these black women that they're not necessarily that attractive, but they would say like they're making like $100,000 a year. And it was always kind of like, cognitively dissonant for me because you always hear over and over how black people are so poor, you know, and obviously they're not all poor, obviously.
It is an exciting and confusing time for teens and parents. Along with all the physical changes that happen during puberty, it is also a time of identity formation. It's pretty common for adolescents to try on different identities as they go through this period of time. Some parents will have to adapt to their child revealing more personal information to them, like the fact that they have a gender identity that does not match their assigned sex at birth. When babies are born, we label them as boy or girl based on the external genital anatomy we see. In truth, this is actually their biologic sex and does not always match their gender identity. People may identify as the opposite gender, somewhere in between, both genders, or no gender at all. Gender is separate from biological sex, and it is actually the innate sense of who we are. People along the gender spectrum may understand this about themselves from a very young age, or may not disclose this information until their teenage years, or even in some cases later in life.
Gender identity is the biggest crock, you know what I mean? Why not species identity? Why not I'm a dog or whatever, you know?
Sorry, my brain cells were committing suicide because I had to listen to that.
Yeah, and again, and it's another children's hospital putting out those videos. I mean, it's crazy how quickly and easily it was to sell like basically the whole population or a good chunk of it anyways on this thing that's just not scientific, obviously ideological. You know, you take a woman like that making the video and you say, hey, what's the causal mechanism behind somebody having the wrong gender identity? They're like, what? What do you mean? What are you talking about? I don't know. They can't explain the mechanism behind it at all. It's literally just a choice as far as any of us knows. That's Drew Barrymore in The Rain.
Homegirl's been wilding out.
You and I both know that you are capable of enjoying the rain and frolicking freely without filming it and then posting it to TikTok. Now, you've just co-signed, okay? You've just co-signed at least 3 million, 8.5 by 11 front and back, people who just go out of their way to disrespect and dismiss the boundaries that Black creators have set. And now you're one of those people. So I guess my question would be, why? Why is it so important to all of you to treat us like we don't matter?
I am so tired of Black women finding a problem with nothing. You know what this is the result of? It's the result of a society where people don't have anything to fight for and they have no purpose. So they go and they see a freaking TikTok of Drew Barrymore frolicking in the rain and then have a problem with it because they're so upset with their own boring, sad lives because they don't have a purpose.
Yeah, I didn't really know what she was talking about. I kind of like guess from the context that it was supposed to be like a black, like don't post on TikTok today if you're not black kind of thing. That's the only thing I can imagine that would give her any excuse to go off on that tirade at all. But yeah, like talk about first world problems.
Seriously, it's like, oh my gosh, you posted a TikTok of you frolicking in the rain on a Thursday when you were supposed to post it on a Friday. Is this oppression? Yeah. Gosh, it's exhausting.
Part of my thing here is like, should we be giving the people that run tech companies complete and total authority and power over the public domain? And I think that we can all find egregious examples of people that say very offensive things who we go, yes, they shouldn't have a platform. That being said, I don't know that this is when you say like, what is everyone afraid of? I think people like me that make a living speaking or whatever, I don't think we're completely comfortable with giving private tech companies complete control over the public domain.
But you're not saying anything on the level of what he's saying.
No.
So this is comedian Tim Dillon, I guess, on the H3H3 podcast, I would think, talking to Ethan and Gila Klein about the banning of Andrew Tate. And Tim Dillon is saying, as somebody who speaks on the internet, I don't want to get banned. That's why I want other people to have free speech. And Gila's like, oh, but you don't have to worry because you're not bad like Tate.
I'm not worried about myself per se. I'm just saying I don't know where things go, and I think that there's a certain acknowledgement of the fact that like small groups of people making decisions for everybody is not necessarily in the interest of everybody, right? I mean, it's throughout history you've seen that like if you have complete total power, that might not be good.
Right. I feel like
so that's where I just look at Twitter and I go, this is a very small group of people that have complete power.
That's true.
Yeah, that's my thing.
But
I feel like that could be a solid thing to talk about, but we can talk about it not when we're talking about Andrew Tate being removed, because I don't think that what you're talking about applies to this guy, who is just he's saying vile stuff that I'm a woman. You're not. Right. It doesn't affect you.
Just the things that Tate says are fairly common chauvinist things, you know what I mean? It's not like this guy's the first chauvinist to ever hit the internet. And so it's not the things that he's saying that bothers people, it's how popular he was, right? Because he was kind of like cool and flashy with all his cars and money. So a lot of young men were like, oh, this guy's cool. And that's what bothers him. It's the fact that people are listening a little too much.
See, and the issue with women like this, because I really do get so tired of women who have an issue with Andrew Tate, because I've listened to the clips myself too, and I was like, oh, that's not a great thing to say about women. So you know what I did? I went and I actually listened to hour-long podcasts of Andrew Tate, and I actually have hosted a 3-hour show with Andrew Tate. I've met him personally. I know him. We've had conversations. So it's like, when these women say, oh, what Andrew Tate is saying is affecting me personally, how? Just don't listen to it then. It's that easy. One of my favorite quotes is from Tyler, the Creator, and he just goes, internet cyberbullying doesn't exist. Just close the screen. And that's exactly it. It's like, if you don't like what Andrew Tate is saying, then just don't listen to it, ladies. And if it applies to you, then maybe you are a part of the problem, because everything that Andrew Tate says, I agree with, and it doesn't bother me because I know I'm not the type of woman that he's talking about. So it doesn't bother me.
Right. Tyler, the Creator, said something else, actually, just on that note. I didn't have this ready, but let me pull this up real quick. Right. Is that it? If you get cyberbullied, you're a faggot and deserve it. Your stupid ass stayed on the computer and cried all night. Ha ha, fag.
Exactly. Like, if you don't like it, just turn off the screen. And keep in mind too, like back when I had Twitter, people used to tell me to kill myself, that I was fat, that I was ugly, that I was an idiot. And you know what I did? Because so I used to work for Alex Jones and InfoWars back in the OG days when they were on YouTube. So some of my first reports, I got roasted to shit. Okay. People were like, you're fat and stupid and you say like way too much. So you know what I did? I stopped saying like so much. And now my performance on screen is so much better because I took the constructive criticism and I said, okay, let's become better from this. But in the modern day, so many people will be like, I can't believe that you said that my hair is weird on the internet. I'm going to go kill myself now. And that's the modern day. So.
You say like, what is everyone afraid of? I think people like me that make a living speaking or whatever, I don't think we're completely
of what he's saying.
No. I'm not worried about myself per se. I'm just saying I don't know where things go, and I think that there's a certain acknowledgement of the fact that like small groups of people making decisions for everybody is not necessarily in the interest of everybody, right? I mean, this throughout history, you've seen that like if you have complete total power, that might not be good.
Right. I feel like
so that's where I just look at Twitter and I go, this is a very small group of people that have complete power.
That's true.
Yeah, that's my thing.
I feel like that could be a solid thing to talk about, but we can talk about it not when we're talking about Andrew Tate being removed, because I don't think that what you're talking about applies to this guy, who is just he's saying vile stuff that I'm a woman. You're not. It doesn't affect you. So
well, it does in the sense that we all live in a society. I don't want women mistreated.
But it doesn't affect you like it does me. I'm a woman. He hates me. You know what I mean? It's like Jews and the KKK.
No, yeah, I understand.
Or like the ADL and white people.
I'm done.
That he arouses, he says crazy things.
So my thing is like, what's interesting is that the amount of people I see who are like free speech, let's not ban Tate, or a lot of the stuff I say is I don't like Tate, but I believe in not censoring people in free speech. It's all men, right?
It's all men.
So if you talk, it really is.
There's got to be some women.
I'm sure there is.
Look.
We found one right on this show.
No, I'm sure there's literally it's 100% men from what
I don't think Andrew Tate has good ideas. I don't think his ideas are good for young men. What I think is there is a whole other problem about unilaterally banning somebody, the way these platforms work together to ban somebody overnight completely.
A classic.
Yeah. Guys, it's an airport, guys.
This isn't Miami on spring break. Relax. Alright, this is horrible, but every single time I go to the airport, I hope to see a scene like this just so I can be like, world star, let's go.
Mention academia, civil service, and media. Media is partly true in my view of the world, but it misses the mark a little bit. Academia and civil service, I think you're hilarious, and I know that Steve Bannon believes it, and Blake Masters and JD Vance, and they're talking about the acronym.
But man, I grew up in the civil service. Like my mother, father, and stepfather were in the deep state for a total. I mean, I love the term because it's a Turkish term, of course. We're in the deep state for a total of like 80 years. So that's I don't know. That's what I saw, man.
Nope, total nonsense.
Nope, no deep state, total nonsense. I think it's
He's
cool
like,
that
you have a direct experience with that? No, disregard.
Yeah, it's not a hard concept to understand. It's just people who stay in their positions in perpetuity and get really comfortable and then start doing whatever they want, basically. But I think it's cool that Curtis Yarvin is getting out there to some left-wing audiences. By the way, we got a $3 super chat come in, and it relates to that clip, the Drew Barrymore clip. Topsy says, I hate that I know this, but her irrational hate of Drew Barrymore frolicking in the rain is based in black women not being able to go out in the rain and let their hair down because most of them have enough product to cause a toxic spill. That makes sense, but it's even worse in a way. I mean, it's really no one's allowed to enjoy the rain, or you have to do it privately so black women don't feel bad. Come on, that can't be right.
Don't join the army. The reason you don't want to join the army.
Oh, speaking of Andrew Tate having good ideas, here's one.
There is nothing in the Western world worth fucking dying for. They will send you to Iraq, and you'll be out there getting shot at. At the same time, the person who's shooting at you, his cousin, is being allowed into the country as a fucking refugee. If you say anything bad about that, you go to jail for hate speech. Then when his cousin runs 10 people over with a car, you're not allowed to comment on it. But you have to sit there and take bullets to defend your country. Defend what? We let them in anyway.
And so that's why I tell people on the right not to hate Andrew Tate too much. Yeah, he's immoral and webcams and all that, and we don't approve of that stuff. But he does have some good dissident talking points. And when you have somebody who's making those kind of talking points and they're reaching millions of people, that's not the worst thing, you know?
Yeah, again, I don't agree with everything that Andrew has said. Again, I've heard the comments on women. I don't agree with all of it, but the majority of what he says, yeah, it's common sense takes. And what he does say to, because Tim Dillon said, I think that what Andrew Tate is saying is bad for young men. But with that comment, I guarantee you that he hasn't listened to an hour-long podcast with Andrew Tate regarding what he actually does think about women and men and their gender roles.
Yeah, it's not, his ideas aren't actually that crazy when you hear them out. And I don't agree with everything either, but it's not that insane.
And the fettikad! Oh my God!
I love just a dolphin returning a cell phone. Just a nice little white pill. Dolphins are really smart.
So today I'm with Lulu.
This one's rough.
Lulu.
Hi guys.
Hey, I was driving by and I saw you and I wanted to get an update because last time I talked to you about a month ago, you gave an update that you had been ran over, your leg, and you're gonna go to the doctor, right? Detox, all these plans. But I see you today and my heart breaks because your leg, it hasn't healed. On the contrary, your leg
it got worse.
Got very, very bad, right? Both, right?
Horrible.
Yeah, on my left leg, my rod popped out of place. I had a heavy suitcase that I was carrying, and I just heard something pop.
I can't look
it's
at
supposed
it.
to be like this.
I can't look at it. I'll throw up.
So when I step on it, like
it's everywhere.
It
How
hurts
is she
so
walking?
bad. Like each step I take hurts. Like
Powered
this
by
used to be
meth.
like this, but I didn't walk
disgusted.
for 2 days and it went down. But you can still tell it's broken.
How many stars are on the United States flag?
My boy James.
103?
103?
Yeah, correct.
32.
What ocean is on the east side of the United States?
What ocean? Can I Google it?
You guys know this.
I know this. I don't know this.
What country is the Queen
I
of
like how
England from?
she's Googling it as if he just wants to know the answer, as if it's not a trivia question. You know?
I'm not a politics guy. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know. I really don't know.
Just take a guess. Like, what country is the Queen of England from?
Europe? I don't know. I don't know. I just took a guess.
What's the capital of the United States?
There's a capital? What?
Yes.
Lexi.
Take a guess.
I don't know. Probably California.
Yeah, that's right.
It is?
No, the United States. Do we know?
Stop! I knew he was gonna embarrass us. I know. Wait, I don't even want to think because I don't want to sound dumb.
Well, just
There's no capital of the United States. Literally, is there no capital?
correct.
Was that right?
No.
Oh!
You guys are UCLA
We literally
students?
go to UCLA. It's, yeah.
Who was the first president of the United States?
That's the student loan debt we're paying off.
Abraham Lincoln. Can you name the 3 Kardashian sisters?
Kim, Courtney, and Chloe.
What are the 3 Kardashian sisters' names?
Courtney, Kim, and Chloe.
Chloe, Kim, Courtney, and Courtney. Yeah.
Bonus points for the brother?
Robert.
The Kardashians' brother's name. What?
Rob.
What are the Kardashian sisters' names?
I don't even know. I ain't gonna lie. Don't know.
That one, you get respect from me on that one.
I would have got Kim and Kylie, I think, but not the other one. What is it, Courtney? Have you ever done that? Like, you do man on the street stuff, but have you ever done that thing where you try asking basic social science questions?
I was in New York and I tried to do this, but then I ended up kind of shifting and I did the craziest thing you've ever, experienced as a New Yorker video instead. But I went and I asked a woman, she's a business owner from Texas. And I said, hey, what is the First Amendment? And she said the right to bear arms. And I was like, okay, we're done here. So yeah.
The reason I'm always curious how cherry picked it is. I want to, one of these days I'm going to do one myself.
People are really that
but I'm going to
dumb.
show the people who get it right too. Because there's got to be people who know the answers to these questions, right?
There definitely is, but not at Venice Beach in California. I've gone to Venice Beach every single time I go. I get the most viral content because everyone there is an idiot, unfortunately. And, I think a really great question for this type of video, and I've always wanted to ask it, is what's the difference between Washington and Washington, D.C.?
Yeah.
Because people would be like, what?
That's almost a little too hard to be.
Yeah. Is it too hard? I don't know. I mean, the point is like everyone's really, really dumb. So, yeah, and you could even ask them, like, what continent are we on? Sometimes people don't even know that one.
Yeah.
So I was a 7th grade civics teacher, government teacher, and she is an elementary school teacher.
What year did we get our independence?
17 something.
We're teachers.
I actually don't teach what's in our curriculum. I'm teaching children social studies that's not in our curriculum, teaching them things about how to be an anti-racist. I taught them about protesting. I taught them about Black Lives Matter. I taught them about Black Lives Matter.
And the truth comes out.
I mean, a social studies teacher who doesn't know what year America got independence. I mean, this is this is a red flag if ever there was one. This is a problem. You know what I mean? It's crazy, man. What's going on in these schools? I have a son who's about to turn 2, and we're hopefully going to homeschool him. That's the plan.
We definitely should. I was homeschooled. That's why I'm kind of
were?
Yeah, that's why I'm so socially awkward.
Yeah, there you go. You seem like you turned out all right.
Definitely.
So that's in South Africa, and we're getting close to the end here, by the way. And they're chanting "Kill the Boer," which I believe is basically white people. This is a thing they chant down there. And it's some kind of press conference, as you can see. Now, my opinion is that these people are way too relaxed. I know they deal with this every day. It's just kind of the climate down there. This is like the Communist Party. I forget what they're called, the ETF or something like that. It's not ETF, but it's something like that. And yeah, I wouldn't have my back turned to a group of amped up people who are chanting about killing me personally.
Yeah, especially in South Africa. Jeez.
Yeah. EFF, someone said in the chat. That sounds right. All right, this clip is really amazing. I think this might be the last one, or it's close, but this is a really great clip.
Yeah. Trans women should be legally treated as women. Tell me why you're strongly disagreeing.
Because I'm a molecular geneticist. Being male or being female is a developmental process. You can't go backwards.
Okay.
So you can't change your sex. Like, you cannot do that. And the truth is that currently in California prisons and prisons in other parts of the country, women are getting impregnated by other women. And there's just no way that, I mean, this is against the UN. After World War II, there was like I don't remember what body came up with this statute, but it was against, I believe it was the Hague. You cannot house female prisoners with male prisoners because they get raped. And that's happening today. You know, I go to the women's changing room at my gym, and there's a dude in there, he's putting on makeup and hoop earrings. And this is not something a woman does when she goes to work out. Nor do women beat each other to death, but men do. You know, and it's so sad that women have internalized the misogyny to the point where the man's comfort takes precedence over the woman's safety. There's a reason why they don't want to be in men's prisons, because men beat each other to death. Women don't do that.
What, if anything, would cause you to move to the disagree? And is there anything you heard here tonight that would convince you to move one line over? It's okay to say no. I'm just trying to figure this out.
No, I have figured it out.
I love that line. Yeah. That's like Red Eye Doom music. I have figured it out. I'm not trying. I love that so much.
And you're confident?
I am as confident as I am that this is my hand in front of my face instead of yours. There is absolutely, this is the most insane thing that has ever happened to me in my life, that women are a feeling now.
All right.
I love that. That was a great ending clip.
Yeah, a little bit of a white pill for to get the taste out of our mouth before we go to bed. Okay, well, that's basically the show there. I don't want to keep you too much longer here because I know it's a little bit later there in Texas. Like I said, I put links in the description. If you guys want to follow Sav, you should follow her. She's got YouTube, Instagram. Is there anything else you want to say to the people? Anything you want to plug? Any upcoming projects we should know about?
You guys can go follow me on Truth Social as well. I put a lot of my reporting there. But yeah, Instagram and YouTube would be the best places to follow me. And thank you for having me. This was actually a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for coming. I'm a big fan, and you're a superstar. You're headed places.
Thank
Someday
you.
you'll be the nation's like next Tucker Carlson or something, and I'll say, hey, I know her kind of. All right, Sav, thanks very much. Thanks everybody for watching the show. Remember, if you want to support the channel, I am demonetized here on YouTube. You can head over to ihypocrite.net, make a pledge if you like. And other than that, we'll see you guys all next week. Thanks for watching. Catch you all on the flip side. Peace out.